Welcome back to a full hour of Punchline, where it is Mashujaa Day, which recognizes heroes. A similar award is given by the president based on a national honors list. Now, there are various awards a deserving citizen can receive. They bring recognition, respect, and come with a few trappings. Rose Gakur now joins us with more. Rose.
Good evening, Anne, and of course the PS right there did try to explain to us the differences between the national heroes and the national honors. And of course, remember, the recipients then have categories of awards they could be conferred upon. And among those awards, of course, I'll be taking you through just in a moment. But of course, there are various categories. And remember, first we have the Order of the Golden Heart. And remember, that is the highest honor in the land. And remember, under this award, which is the Order of the Golden Heart of Kenya, it is divided in 3 classes. Of course, the Chief, the Elder, and the Moran. And of course, the Chief is the highest and is actually conferred to the sitting president of the nation. And of course, in today's conferment of the awards, of course, Warren Eliud Kipchoge was conferred the Elder of the Golden Heart of Kenya, of course, for his great achievements in the marathon in Vienna. And of course, we have more right there, even away from the order. And we have decorations and commendations right there. You have the campaign medal, and we have the Long Service and Good Conduct Medal, as well as the Head of State's Commendation. And of course, you remember, in 2006, again, Eliud Kipchoge did receive that Head of State Commendation, normally divided in 2 sections, the military as well as the civilian. And we also have the commemorative medals. Right there, you had seen the 10th anniversary, more commemorative medals right here. That were things like the first 10 years of the Nyayo era, the 25th anniversary commemorative medal, as well as the 20 great years of Nyayo leadership. And of course, remember, these are just awards, categories, medals, if you would, of what those who receive these awards would be conferred upon. But of course, remember, we had spoken about entitlements, and of course, there are certain trappings that come with it. But now, specifically for the national heroes, which is our focus tonight, there isn't a specific, provision of what they would be receiving. But of course, right here, you have a few things on national heroes. Invitations to national and community functions is among the entitlements to a national hero. Cultural festivals, concerts, exhibitions, and sports events, those are invitations they could get. They could also have towns, institutions, parks, roads, and notable landmarks being named after that hero. Perhaps that would explain why you have seen certain institutions, streets, roads, and so on named after these heroes. And of course, that's basically part of the entitlement. And remember, these are just the national heroes, but we also have the national honors. And of course, remember, there is a whole criteria of how this is done. But even before we get to the criteria, remember, what more are, or what also forms or comprises the entitlement to the national heroes: medals, insignias, commendations, and other commemorative, the issuance of postage stamps, apparel, and artifacts, and of course, publication of books, obviously in honor of these recipients. And remember, for national heroes again, they also should access financial assistance from the National Heroes Fund, the standard of health care services, as well as accessible and adequate housing. And of course, remember, this title is for national honors and not national heroes. And of course, remember, our focus tonight is on national heroes. And of course, remember, over time, we have seen the processes. And remember, this is made by the head of state upon the advice of our committee, that is the Honors and Awards Committee, which is a committee in the office of the president. And remember, the various ways that one can get the awards via nomination is through the ministries, perhaps through individuals, even non-governmental organizations, as well as religious organizations. And of course, that is just maybe to explain to you what it takes or how one finally gets to be a hero and what entitlements they get out of that. And of course, now, remember, there has been conversation around who gets to receive these, and is it really losing value, and what should be the criteria? And of course, remember, we already did introduce in the first segment of our bulletin, this is State House Operative Dennis Itumbi, and of course, Anne Kiguta will be taking it away.
Thank you, Rose, for that. So these terms can be a little bit confusing, hero, honor, but right now we want to talk about some of the honors that have been controversial. Now, in 2017, 59 individuals received the Head of State commendation. However, only 4 can be remembered, and unfortunately, not in very favorable light. So let's see if we can open up our wall now and take a look at those different individuals for you. And there they are, faces that are obviously quite familiar to you. Now, let's start with the gentleman on the far right, Githeri man, Martin Kamodo. He came to national fame during the August 2017 elections after being photographed holding a bag of Githeri while waiting in line to perform his civic duty and vote. In his citation, he was commended for promoting national cohesion. Many have since felt that it was a bit of a stretch to give such a key award to a man who was simply absent-mindedly found eating Githeri and then turned by the news media through no real effort of his own into a national sensation. Since his award, he has gone into rehab, unfortunately, for alcoholism, and today is still battling the addiction. In the middle is former celebrated journalist Jackie Maribe, and since her award, the former Citizen TV news anchor has been charged alongside her then-fiancé Joseph Kuria Irongo with the murder of businesswoman Monica Kimani. That trial is still ongoing, and Maribe is out on bail and fighting to prove her innocence. Next to her, Robert Alai. Since his award, the controversial blogger has been charged with treason for sharing pictures on a WhatsApp platform showing the bodies of Kenyan policemen killed by the Al-Shabaab in June. And finally, and joining me in studio, Dennis Itumbi, weeks after he received his award, the Presidential Strategic Communications Unit in which he worked was disbanded. He was in July arrested and charged in connection with what police say are false claims regarding a plot to assassinate the Deputy President. And he's taken issue with the fact that we are calling him controversial. Do you think you're not?
Oh, well, I think it's part of those things that we should redefine. But first, from your script when you're introducing me, I think that would be a good place to start. When was the PSU disbanded? I found these across media houses. Maybe you have a letter which I didn't see. When was it disbanded? I think the editors in across media houses are as confused as unfortunately you are when you're scripting, if you scripted that, not your producer, because PSU was never disbanded. Where is the letter? Where is the evidence? When were people kicked out of State House? Which is, by the way...
Perhaps let's start here, Dennis, because I think it's right for you to address that. There were reports that you, who was heading that strategic unit alongside others, during the controversy that eventually came to be known as the rift between the Tanga and etc., were removed from State House, yourself physically removed from actually working within those premises, and now ended up working with the Deputy President, still in a similar capacity, and new faces were brought on board, faces that eventually led to the overhaul of that entire unit and even the announcement of a new head of press. So are you saying those events did not happen, or you feel they were misreported on?
It's fake news that has gone mainstream. No one has ever bothered to call me or call my colleagues and ask them where I work from. People just decided to go. In fact, one of the main newspapers in Kenya called the spokesman of the Deputy President when I was arrested. And the spokesman of the Deputy President said, Dennis does not have an office here. He works at State House. That newspaper went ahead and wrote that he has been kicked out, which is the same thing I'm hearing now. Those are, to say the least, things that I would have expected.
So you're saying you work from State House?
Yes, that's where my office is.
And you're saying that PSU is still running?
And by the way, just for your information, I have sued this media house, I've sued The Nation and The Standard. I have given them demand letters, so by end of next week, the 14 days will expire, and I will open defamation suits on that. Because I think it's absolutely unfair for mainstream media to continuously perpetuate a lie and hope that the repetition of a lie in the famous phrase will become truth.
And
maybe we need to say this, a lie is a lie is a lie.
And you're quite right. And so I suppose those are matters that will be dispensed of in court, and it is your right, of course, to do that. So now to the subject of our discussion. And you've seen the 4 individuals who are on the screen, and of course there are court cases ongoing, and we will not get into that. But I'll ask you this. What do you think about the kind of events that followed the receiving of these awards, all of them quite unfortunate for the four of you. Is it just a stream of bad luck, do you think?
Well, I wouldn't say I would say it's life. I mean, and being charged in court is nothing, there's nothing wrong in that. In fact, the current president and the deputy president have been charged in court, actually higher court with worse charges, rape, murder. So, and a continuation of them, they went through it, they won, and the Kenyan people collectively decided those were the people they were choosing to be their leaders. Mm-hmm. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with being in court. Being in court, with Robert Arai being in court, or with Jackie Maribe being in court, mm-hmm. or myself being in court. And you see, we will fight our battles in court. All right. And we will win.
What did you do, as far as your citation is concerned, to merit the honor that the president gave you?
First, before I come to my citation, let's understand that the head of state, the HSC, head of state commendation, is merely a pat on the back by the president. It is the lowest in rank of the awards. It is an award that the president himself, it is the only award, by the way, that carries the title of the head of state among all those awards. So this is just your boss on my part saying, well done, Dennis.
All right.
That is well done.
Unfortunately, we understand we're having a bit of a challenge with your microphone, so we're going to take a short break and we're going to be back with Dennis Itumbi after this.